Hey, and welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wondered why, for so many people, life seems to just take this really difficult turn right around age 40? Well, today we're going to dig into a philosophy that tries to answer that exact question. And it frames this whole challenging period not as some kind of crisis, but as life's biggest, most important test. So, this whole explainer was actually inspired by a question one of you sent in about facing sudden illness and just, hardship after a decade of working so hard. The source material we're looking at today has a name for this. It's called Mahanari, which translates to the sickness of 40, and it has a really fascinating structured reason for why this all happens. Okay, so let's jump right in. What exactly is this sickness of 40? Well, according to this way of thinking, it is not just a string of bad luck. Nope. It's a purposeful and absolutely critical phase of your life. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The whole perspective is that these awful things, getting sick, losing money, relationships falling apart, they're not random. They're actually part of a bigger, structured process in our development. And to really get why this test is even a thing, you got to look back at what came right before it. You see, the source explains that your first couple of decades as an adult, they're not the main show, not at all. They are basically the warm-up act, a necessary prep period before the real challenges even begin. So think about it like this. In your 20s, you still have guardrails. You're guided, you're correcting bad habits, and you have a support system. And then, boom, you hit your 30s and you're kind of let off the leash to learn and to build. And according to this view, it's like society itself is rooting for you, giving you the mentors and the chances you need to grow and gather up your resources. But this is where the script just completely flips. According to this teaching, all that support you had in your 30s, it basically just stops cold as you walk into the next stage of your life. And that, right there, brings us to the absolute heart of this whole philosophy. Your 40s are framed as life's great examination, a time that the source even calls the demonic 40s. Now, it's super important to get this. The idea isn't that you're being punished. It's a deliberate test to see how you actually manage everything you've built, your money, your friendships, your own inner strength, once the training wheels are taken off. So you might be asking, what's actually on this test? Well, according to the source, the very things you spent your 30s gathering up, like money or a huge network of people, those things might get taken away. The whole point is to see if you can truly handle them, or if you were just coasting. It's a test to see what you're really made of on the inside. And here's a really fascinating part. This isn't some standardized test that everyone gets. The speaker says the difficulty is custom-built for you, precisely calibrated to your own strength and your character. So if you have a more rigid, strong-willed personality, well, you might be in for a much tougher exam. Okay, so you might be thinking, what is the point of all this suffering, right? Why go through such a brutal test? Well, this philosophy says it's all to figure out where you're headed for the rest of your life, which, according to this, really kicks off when you turn 50. Basically, how you handle this decade-long exam sets the stage for the rest of your life. If you pass by handling things with grace and learning from them, you get the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. You're given more power to live a fulfilling life. But if you fail by just blaming everyone and sinking into negativity, those struggles, they might just keep on coming. All right, so if you're stuck in the middle of this thing, feeling the heat, what do you do? How do you possibly navigate it? And how do you heal from all the hardship you're facing? Well, the answer this philosophy gives is probably not what you'd expect. It's not about just pushing through the pain or only relying on doctors. It's about a total fundamental shift in what's going on inside you. So this philosophy makes a really clear distinction between two kinds of medicine. First, there's Myeongyak. That's conventional medicine, the stuff that treats what you can see, the physical symptoms. But then there's Yangyak, or spiritual medicine, and that's what's presented as the real key to getting through these trials. So what is this spiritual medicine? It's not some magic pill. It's joy, pure and simple. It's anything at all. A hobby, a teaching, a person, a place that genuinely makes you feel good and lifts your spirit up. So how does this actually work? Well, the core idea is that illness and hardship, whether it's cancer or depression or being broke, can only really take root and activate in a negative environment inside you. when you fill your life with genuine joy, you're basically cutting off the fuel supply for all that negativity. And if you do that consistently, that negative energy can't survive. It just fades away. So really, the big takeaway here is this: stop wrestling with the problem head on and instead put all that energy into finding what makes you happy. The healing isn't in the fight itself, it's in the joy that you choose to create. In the end, this whole philosophy kind of reframes hardship. It's not a final judgment on you. It's more like a profound question. It challenges all of us to see if we can still choose joy, even when we're facing life's absolute toughest tests. And what we do with that choice, it suggests, is what defines everything that comes next. That's our explainer for today. Thanks for digging into this with us.